Namandav, 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 Namandav. Namandav, 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 Namandav. It is by the power of Dhammakara's vow that we realize the Nembutsu, that is wisdom. Were it not for the wisdom of Shinjin, how could we attain nirvana? Namandav, 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 Namandav. Hello everyone, welcome to the English Dharma Talk on Tsukiji Hongwanji YouTube channel. I'm Osamu NANJO and I really appreciate that you're watching this video. I would like to share the Dharma with you today. Well, I'll try to use PowerPoint so that we can share the image more easily, I guess. So here we go. Okay, since this is my first time to speak in English on this channel, well, in Japanese, I already did it last year. So if you understand Japanese, please check it out as well. But in English, this is my first time. So let me introduce myself a little bit at first. My name is Osamu NANJO, as I told you. I live in Shizuoka City. Do you know where Shizuoka is? Shizuoka is 200 kilometers away from Tokyo, and Shizuoka Prefecture is very famous for Mount Fuji and Japanese green tea. It's very good. And our city, Shizuoka, the capital of the prefecture, it's famous for strawberries and plastic models like Tamiya and Daidoge World Cup, which is a street performing World Cup. It's quite famous, I guess. And Chibi Maruko-chan, the worldwide popular Japanese anime, is from our city as well. And I'm a vice resident minister of Kyogakuji Temple. Our temple is like this. And which is located about 10 or 15 minute walk away from the JR Shizuoka station, very close to the station and center of the city. So if you ever come to Shizuoka, please visit our temple, Kyogakuji. You are always welcome. And I also work at Escola Fuji, which is a Brazilian school in Fuji City, very close to Mount Fuji. Our school is like this. I studied Portuguese at university in Tokyo. Not Tokyo University, but university in Tokyo. And I majored in Portuguese language because I love Brazil. So I studied Portuguese at university in Brazil as well for 1 year. That's why I work at Brazilian school teaching Japanese and English for Brazilian children, Brazilian students using Portuguese. Well, teaching Japanese is not the problem, but teaching English in Portuguese, it's very confusing for me because both languages are foreign language for me. So sometimes, well, not sometimes actually, all the time I mix Portuguese with English. So today, during the talk, I might use Portuguese words or Portuguese language. But so maybe I should apologize beforehand. But please try to understand what I would like to say. I need your cooperation, I guess. Well, I think that's enough about me, so let's start the Dharma talk. Okay, well, we recite Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, right? But why do we recite Nembutsu? Why do we say Namo Amida Butsu? Today, I would like to think about it through the Brazilian movie called Two Sons of Francisco. This is a true story of one of the most successful Brazilian country music duo, Zezé de Camargo y Luciano. It means and. So, the man with an accordion is Zezé de Camargo, and another one is Luciano. To tell you the truth, I like them so much that I went to their concert in Brazil, and I also went to their concert in Japan as well. They came all over to Japan. Okay, the story begins from 1960s in Pirenópolis, very, very countryside of the state of Goiás. Francisco Camargo and his wife, Helena, they have 7 children. A very big family, yes? The big family was living in a small house with no electricity and very little money. But there's nothing like pathetic atmosphere at all. I just see the love and warmth of the family. And I think this is one of the reasons why I like Brazil. Francisco loves country music. In Brazil, this kind of music is called sertanejo. So please remember this word, sertanejo. Francisco loves sertanejo so much that he turns on the radio to listen to sertanejo every day. And of course, their kids are listening with him all the time. In fact, Francisco has a dream that his sons become country music stars. Since Brazil has a serious social inequality, it's not easy to get away from poverty once you're born in that circumstances or environment. Francisco wants his children to escape from the poverty, and for that reason, he leads them to become musicians of sertanejo. He does everything he can do to make his dream come true. People laugh at him sometimes, saying that he's such a crazy father, but he doesn't care at all. He just goes on his own way. And this is the core of this movie. First, he sells almost everything and spends all his money to buy an accordion for his eldest son, Mirismar, and a guitar for the second son, Emival. Sometimes he does a kind of crazy thing, such as making his sons swallow raw eggs because a rooster has a beautiful voice. Well, in Japan, we eat raw eggs as well as raw fish, so it's normal. But in Brazil, eating raw eggs is kind of unbelievable. So there is no doubt that Francisco seems to be crazy, but he's always thinking seriously for his sons. And his sons, feeling father's expectations, practiced very hard by themselves and got better day by day. They got quite famous in their small village, but the family runs out of money, even though Francisco has been working a lot. They were kicked out of their rented house and had to move to Goiânia, capital of the state. But their life doesn't get better, becomes even worse. They could hardly eat. And one day, the eldest son, Mirismar, finds his mother crying alone. He grabs his accordion immediately and went to the bus terminal with his younger brother Amida to play music on the street. Once they start singing, their voice touches the people's heart, and the people around the brothers gave money one after another. Since then, the brothers play music every day in the bus terminal, and they become quite popular there. Hearing the reputation, there appears an aggressive music agent, Miranda. This man looks totally suspicious. He's like a money monster, who likes to count bills like this. Miranda approaches Francisco and tells him that his sons have great potential for the success throughout Brazil. So he proposed to take his sons on a journey and practice singing in the crowd. Usually, we wouldn't trust someone that we just met for the first time. At least, as a father, I wouldn't do that, but Francisco does. He left Mirosmar and Amida with Miranda. So many things happen with them, but after twists and turns, the brothers and Miranda got close to each other like a family, and they become famous enough to have a concert in front of 6,000 people. They were going very well, but suddenly a tragedy happened. They got a traffic accident, crushed by a truck on the way back from the concert. Mirosmar and Miranda, they survived somehow, but Amida passed away. Francisco's family was in deep sorrow, and Mirosmar didn't want to play music anymore because of his profound sadness. Their sorrow lasted day after day until Mirosmar played his accordion again. The sound of his music was like a light for the family. A few years later, he comes back on the stage with his stage name Zeze. He won the local competition, and married a beautiful woman, Jilu. Zeze moved to the biggest city in Brazil, São Paulo. He managed to contract with a recording company, but since it's extremely difficult to succeed as a professional, he suffered a lot. At that time, Zeze's youngest brother, Wilson, came over to him in São Paulo. Wilson admires Zeze so much and practiced singing very hard. He named his stage name by himself, Luciano, and the new duo was born, Zeze de Camargo e Luciano. They made a new song, Eu Amor, and recorded it. They went back home in Goiânia to let their family hear it, and the family became very happy, but no one knew when this music would be on the market. It is not easy, of course. Then Francisco began to do something for his sons. He took the music tape to the radio station and called from the public telephone. Like this, he requested, Eu Amor, Zezé de Camargo, Luciano, again and again, changing his voice to pretend that various people are requesting that song. His sons never knew that Francisco changed all his money into telephone coins to call the radio station. He asks his co-workers, giving the telephone coins, to request the song Zezé de Camargo y Luciano, Eu Amor. I wouldn't be able to use all the money for the coins, but Francisco does. You can see how hard he is working for his son's success. He can't help doing something for his sons. Thanks to Francisco's effort, Eu Amor started appearing on the radio and finally attained the top of the request chart. Francisco had no coins anymore, but the song kept being in the charts. And finally, Eu Amor was released from the record company and sold over 1 million. After that, Zezé de Camargo y Luciano became the top star of Sertanejo, selling over 22 million CDs in total. Okay, so this is all about the movie Two Sons of Francisco. It took so much time to tell the story, I'm sorry. Now you might think, well, is this really a Dharma talk? It sounds like a movie talk. Okay, now let me explain why I introduced this movie spending such a long time. At the beginning, I told you that this is the story of Zezé de Camargo y Luciano. But actually, it's not true. This is not a story of Zezé de Camargo y Luciano, but a story of their father, Francisco Camargo, a very simple and poor man whose dream was to see his sons become country music star, and who made all the efforts to make it happen. Francisco didn't care about himself at all. Everything he did was just for his sons. His wish towards sons was his energy itself. And Zezé was saying in the interview that their success would never be possible without their father, Francisco Camargo. I imagine that every song they sing, every music they play, they feel the wish of their father. I would say that their singing voice is kind of a fruit of Francisco's wish and effort. Well, for me, this sounds very similar to Nembutsu. The teaching of Jodo Shinshu is not that my wish or dream of becoming Buddha comes true. Not my wish, but Dharmakara's vow was fulfilled. This is what Jodo Shinshu teaches us. Dharmakara is the name of Amida Buddha when performing practices as a bodhisattva. So, Dharmakara's vow is the same thing as Amida Buddha's vow, and we call it the primal vow, Hongan, in which Amida has said that all beings, even the most foolish ones, will be enabled to entrust themselves to and recite the name Namo Amida Butsu so that they can be saved without exception or discrimination. At the very beginning of this Dharma talk, I recited one of the Shuran Shonin's hymns. It is by the power of Dharmakara's vow that we realize the Nembutsu, that is wisdom. Were it not for the wisdom of Shinjin, how could we attain nirvana? In this hymn, Shinran Shonin tells us that our Nembutsu and Shinjin originate 100% from the power of Dharmakara's vow, In other words, Amida Buddha's primal vow. So just like Zezechka, Margot, and Luciano were feeling their father's wish through their singing voice, I hear the primal vow or the great compassion of Amida Buddha through reciting Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu. In this hymn, there are the words of the vow, Nembutsu, and Shinjin. So let me talk about the relation of these three. One day, my Dharma friend, Reverend Hiroki Masuda, was talking about his children. He has 3 children, 2 sons and 1 little daughter. His family took a trip to the beach, and his kids were so excited. When they got close to the beach, his second son was saying in the car, "Wow, that's a beautiful sea." And the little daughter, who was just started learning words, heard his brother saying sea, umi in Japanese. She kept saying, "Umi, umi, sea, sea," again and again. And then they got to the beach, and the kids ran to the water's edge. And the little daughter was saying, "Wow, the sea is coming. The sea is coming." But the second son was like, "No, this is not the sea. We call it the wave. So the wave is coming." And after that, the kids started playing with sand, building castle or mountains or whatever. And then the little daughter asked his brother, "Please bring the sea." But the second son again said, "No, not bring the sea. Bring the water." The little girl was almost crying, but the eldest son told his brother and sister that the water, the wave, and the sea, these are the same thing. So both of you are right. So the eldest son is very smart, isn't he? Anyway, this story tells us that the sea, the wave, the water, we call them differently, but they are exactly the same. Like when the sea reaches me, we call it the wave. And when we react with it, we call it water. So, just like this, when the primal vow reaches me, it becomes Shinjin. And when I recite, it becomes Nembutsu. Just like the sea, wave, and water, we call them differently, but they are the same. The origin is the primal vow itself. Namandav, 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 namandav. The fact that I am reciting Nembutsu is the proof that the Amida Buddha's primal vow is working right now, right here for me. That's why today I put the title as Amida Buddha's Call, which is Namo Amida Butsu. Right now, we all are in a difficult situation. But please remember that we are not alone. No matter where you are, we are all within the same great compassion of Amida Buddha, and we are all embraced by the Hongan, the primal vow, because we already hear Amida Buddha's call, Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this video and sharing the Dharma with me. I really hope to see you at the real English Saturday service at Tsukiji Hongwanji soon. Well, to close the Dharma talk, please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda. Namanda, 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 Namanda.